There'll be more than 6,000 new homes built in our area this year. That doesn't excite me that much. What excites me is those unique, historic, frankly, non-traditional properties, places you could live that no one would even think was a home. It's very, very difficult when you're searching for those homes. It's very, very difficult when you're selling those homes to find an expert who understands the nuance of historic, architecturally significant, and non-traditional residential properties. I've got a friend of mine with us who is expert in that area, Janie Coffey from Compass Realty. Janie, I'm really happy to have you with me.
Thanks, Wally.
You have found a niche, created a niche, embraced a niche, have a passion for a niche that is unlike any other agent in town, and that is this idea of homes that are so different that they're typically difficult to find and difficult to sell. What drew you to the weird, dear?
Maybe because I am weird. I don't know. I don't know. I find historic, architecturally significant, and unique homes fascinating. I've been kind of in that niche since my time in South Florida in Coral Gables, where I really sought out the unique, whether they're the old, very old octagonal houses, or we have a lot of very significant architects here that people don't know about. Bob Broward, who's had designed a lot of houses here, and William Morgan, different architects. But there's so many things like the firehouse downtown that was converted into a residence. There's another firehouse that's potentially for sale. Just really unique adaptive reuse properties, especially here in the urban core, where we have so many gems that are sitting there vacant, begging to be restored, renovated, and life brought back into them. And I find it fascinating bringing the history and the architecture and the people all together, and adding to that vibrance that Jacksonville is really feeling right now.
Yeah, you mentioned Bob Broward. I had the honor of inspecting the Dune House several years ago that
I
he
love
did.
that house.
And I'm also a big fan
cool.
of how we've brought back the old library. Another Bob Broward project. Clutho's house I was able to inspect one year too.
Well, Clutho's another one, right?
Yeah, and the apartment building. So it's kind of fun talking to you, because not a lot of people have the experience in those buildings or the passion for them. So just sitting here with you, you can see I'm getting all excited about it. So recently we've had a really fun project we were able to do together on the Sudduth property. It's truly one of the most significant properties anywhere in our region. Share the backstory on how that came to be and how you prepared that and got it sold so quick.
That was if I could have videoed the whole process and shown future sellers this is how to get your home sold for the most the market will bear, they did everything picture perfect. So I'm friends with the granddaughter of Mr. Sudduth, transportation just celebrated 100 years, which is pretty significant.
Absolutely.
And they bought that house back in the 50s. It's over right next to Empire Point. They own 3 acres. It was originally 18 acres from the river to Atlantic Avenue. The home still exists from 1870s, 1880s with a barn. They had horses on it, still there. Really significant property, and the family was bringing it to the market for the first time since 1956. So we talked to them about what needed to do to prep it, as far as painting, power washing, tweaking things, having you guys out to do a really thorough pre-inspection, because with a historic home, having a pre-inspection done in the front end so that you can deal with any little things, address any little things. You found just a few things that was amazingly great condition, a few things that they addressed. So when it actually went under contract and we were in the inspection phase, it was nothing. Like what they asked for, the buyer asked for, was nothing.
You were able to navigate a house that's over 100 years old, 120 years old.
More than that,
130 years old, with fewer contingency issues.
Basically no contingencies. Almost at the end, no contingencies. And it was staged beautifully, it was prepped beautifully. We had the pre-inspection. We priced it a little above a more recent appraisal, but we thought we had pulled it together so well that the market would command that, and we actually got almost list price under contract in 18 days. 18
days in a 120-year-old home in Jacksonville. And how did you find a buyer so rapidly for something? It's a fabulous home,
but it's very
yet
unique.
It's so niche-y, and then it wasn't inexpensive. How did you do that?
Well, I think the buyer would agree with what I'm going to tell you. I have really spent my 4 years now here in Jacksonville, building out kind of my own personal network of people who love the same things I love: historic, architecturally significant, unique homes, and value them and love them. So as soon as we brought it to market, we had done such a pre-launch before hitting the market that the buzz was huge. We had an Instagram influencers open house where we invited a lot of Instagram influencers to come and photograph the house and show it off. And there was one person that I knew would be perfect for the house, and they were not in the market for a house at all. And I just kept dripping on them, like, you've got to come see it, you've got to come see it. And the minute they came, they're like, done. We had 4 groups of people interested at a very high level in that house. Not one of them had been in the market for a house when this house hit the market. But through the network we have built of people with the same affinity for these kind of properties, knowing that this was a landmark home, once in a lifetime opportunity, all 4 groups, families, or combinations of people, were finding ways to sell their current home, maybe move from an area elsewhere to buy this landmark home. And the one who bought it ultimately was the one that acted the fastest, the best, with the least contingencies, because of the way we positioned it. So
that
picture
is mind-boggling.
Picture perfect.
And a rather expensive home, a
Yep.
very unique home,
Yeah.
130-year-old home,
Yeah.
4 competitive buyers, under contract 18 days.
Right.
I congratulate. Nobody does that.
I know, it was great. It was great. But the Sudduth, I have to give them credit. They worked in partnership. That's one of the most important things that I feel as a listing agent, is that the listing agent and the sellers have to work in partnership with a
Right.
high level of trust and respect for each other, that we're going to get there together, and we're doing this together in the way that's going to bring the most the market will bear. And that's sometimes hard for sellers to do that. They're fearful.
Right.
They want sometimes expectations that
Why
the market
you need
doesn't.
an expert that you trust.
Absolutely.
Excellent. I'm grateful that you sat with me. I'm looking forward to spending more time
Thank you.
doing this so we can share some of these other great success stories. What's the
Awesome.
best way for people to get a hold of you?
If anybody wants to reach us, we are at the coffeyteamfl.com, and Coffey is Coffey, not Coffee. Coffeyteamfl.com.
Excellent. I want to thank
Awesome.
Janie for being with us today. When you're looking for something that looks like nothing else, Janie expert. You'll
Yeah.
really enjoy being with her.